I just passed out and I was ready to go back to sleep.
Yeah. I went uh, I went to sleep at
Reasonable
like
things.
9 yesterday. It was a wonderful day of doing absolutely nothing. It was my birthday, and my present to myself was that I didn't have to leave bed or like do
Wonderful.
anything. So I literally spent like 16 waking hours doing nothing, and then went back to sleep.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I've treated my days off. Like, I got this new bed or whatever, and I just basically haven't left it.
Yeah, it's a good
Great.
life.
Yeah, hard life.
All
All
right,
right,
let's do
dark
black.
bargain. Dark bargain. The
Dark.
card that might have caused a little bit of animosity in our local Facebook groups.
Okay. I don't know what to say about
No,
that,
you
but
don't. We don't have to go into that.
Yeah, very
3B,
long conversation.
instant. Look at the top three cards of your library, put two of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Take two.
So it's
So,
like slightly worse glimmer.
yeah.
Because you have to lose life, but it's still pretty decent. Like,
It seems
I
good
think,
for black. The problem is, like, four is so much. Like, the difference between, like, Night's Whisper and Painful Truths up to a card like Dark Bargain, like, that jump is so huge.
For sure.
yeah, you could just even compare it to weak cards. I mean, it is an instant, which is really nice.
Yeah, instant blue card draw with selection is also weird.
It is a little weird. I do like the fact that, like, you do get to throw one into your graveyard, so, like, that could be some fuel
But
for the fire.
it's not even efficient at like filling your graveyard. It's just like the
That's
basic land
true.
you don't want goes in the yard, you know? It's not like Grizzly Salvage or something.
Sure.
It's a weird card.
Getting two cards, you get one in the yard. Sometimes that's like drawing three cards.
Sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, probably enough if you build around it that it's worth playing, right?
This
I mean,
feels like
yes, fours.
the type of card that like they want you to play in your new Cabal Coffers, like mono black deck.
Sure.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like that because
I mean,
obviously they
yes.
want that. They want people to try that, and for that to work, you need good card draw. Like the only time mono black decks have been good is when you have like Underworld Connections or Phyrexian Arena or Night's Whisper. You know, like you need super efficient card draw to make black control decks any good at all. But I don't.
Underworld connections.
Yeah, I don't think that this card is up to that par. Like not
No, it's
close.
not skeletal scrying or whatever.
Oh
But it
God,
is a good
that
card.
there's a magic card.
That card, man.
What is skeletal scrying these days? Yeah, no, the card's fine. It could see constructed play, but like we're looking at a very good common for draft for sure. Like,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you'll play this in draft, especially if you're like, you know, red black or whatever, and you can't get card advantage. Because like blue black, you probably don't even want this, right? You'd rather just have straight card draw. But
yeah, probably. And like red black, obviously you could put like a scrounger in your graveyard or something like
yeah,
that.
well, it's that's the other thing that's weird about it is like black is usually about the card draw in black is usually like raw count, like scrying and Night's Whisper and Painful Truths. And this thing's like got its own selection because normally in red black you use the black for card count and the red for quality, but this like kind of does both sides of it, just
Mhm.
inefficiently.
Well, there's a card from what was it? Cons that's similar to this, where it's like look at the top four, take two and go to your graveyard, and it's sorcery.
Did that cost four?
Yeah, it's a sorcery from Cons Author here.
I don't
It's like
remember.
black three, sorcery. Look at the top four, take two go in your hand, two go in your gun. same card except it was instant, or sorcery instead of instant.
And you get a card deeper.
Yeah, you got a card deeper. And like that was a really good card at times. Yeah, you had
Yeah.
multiple things. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Deathbloom Thallid, 2B for a 3/2. When it dies, get a sapling. Efficient, limited card. Probably not constructible.
Yeah, we haven't seen any like anything you could kind of abuse this with, like Nantuko house type cards or whatever.
Yeah, and even so, like, it only counts itself, you know, it's not like giving you an advantage. It's just 2 bodies for 3 mana, which is not very efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
Demonic Vigor, an aura, and these are important for the red stuff. B, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to its owner's hand. So a big thing with designing auras, basically since the core set change, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the modern era for sure, in the even more recent than modern era, they've really tried to make auras not card disadvantage, right? For the first like 15 years of Magic, 15 plus years of Magic, auras were just pretty much unplayable because you just get 2 for 1 every time.
Right. Yeah.
And then like since then they've made a bunch of auras that like cantrip, and that's kind of like the easy way out. And then if you get deeper into the design, then you can find ways to mitigate that card disadvantage in ways that aren't just, you know, draw a card so that you're not down a card. And I think like Totem Armor was their first real shot at it. And since then they've done a bunch of these. I don't know. I think it's cool design space, but it's also like you're not really furthering anything. Like the reason the draw a card ones are good is because drawing a card is way better than, you know, getting something on the back end.
Right. Yeah. You get the immediate reward instead of the eventual. Yeah, totally agree there. I agree with you on the design space. I like what they were trying to do with it. You know, I mean, it's cute or whatever. It's obviously never going to see a day of play and constructed, I think, but
There would have to be some real like heroic trigger type things going on.
yeah, some more Crusader type cards or whatever.
Yeah.
This is just a callback. I mean, we're in Dominaria, so this is just like a clear callback to some of those old cards that did something similar to this.
Yeah.
If there were old enchant creatures that were like, when you could sack them and like the creature would come back to your hand instead of it dying. So it's very similar, but just like worded way better, so you can't forget.
It is
cheaper and more efficient. Just it's well designed for sure, and it's something we'll definitely see a lot of play in limited and next to now.
I don't know if it'll see a lot of play, but when it does see play, it'll be quite good. Like it'll be in that red enchant creature deck, and like the problem with those style of decks is like you're very limited on how many of the guy who loves wearing pants. You know, you can only get so many of those, and so something like this that, you know, plays with it and gives you a pseudo second copy of that, it seems pretty tailor-made for that, at the very least.
Sure.
Demon Lord Belzenlock. Somebody in the chat will know, is this one of Liliana's demons, or is this just an unrelated Dominaria demon?
I believe it is her last.
It is her last contract?
It's the last, it's the last contract, but like we saw in one of the Nicol Bola, have we got the blue yet?
No.
Okay. There's like a control magic card where it looks like in the flavor text, Bolas is like, that contract belongs to me, you belong to me now.
Oh, okay. Alright, we'll get to that one then.
Okay.
4BB, 6/6 Flying Trample, very, Lord of the Pit. Oops. When it ETBs, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card, then put that card into your hand. If the card's converted mana cost is 4 or greater, repeat this process. Demon Lord Belzenlock deals 1 damage to you for each card put into your hand this way.
So it is it.
Go ahead.
So it, in my mind, I'm looking at this as like a 6 mana, 6/6 flying, trample,
For example, I was gonna say it's the 4/4 for 6. What is it, Gargantua?
Oh, yeah, Phyrexian again.
Oh yeah.
That's basically just
but yeah.
all this thing is.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll just run hot and hit 2 things, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes you'll run hot, hit 2 to 3 things. 3 things if you're running real hot. 2 things if you're running relatively hot.
Yeah, I don't know.
My guess is you're at least getting an action spell every time, and
Yeah.
You're at 6 mana, so.
Sucks that this is a mythic, because this is like a totally beatable card in limited. A totally beatable bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, once I deal with this 6/6 flying trampler, which is, like, difficult but not impossible, obviously.
Yeah, you're just down a card or 2.
Yeah, down a card or 2, not a big deal.
I will say, if there is some sort of... do you remember the Unburial Rites, Thragtusk, Restoration Angel, 3-color Reanimator deck?
Mm-hmm.
Junk.
Yeah, that if there was a shell like that, then this card would be quite good in it.
Oh, sure.
It's like, I don't think it's good in classic Reanimator, where, like, you have some reanimation spells, and once you cast a reanimation spell, then the thing that you reanimated better win the game, It wouldn't be worth that, but in ones where, like, you're going to reanimate a bunch of stuff over the course of a game, then this thing seems great.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say about that is you had Angel Sanctions, and also, so Angel Sanctions is just a draw 35/6 line.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So it's, I don't know. But yeah, I could see this.
A lot had to go right for that deck to exist.
True.
Yeah, so true. But it did exist, and it was annoyingly good.
Yeah, it was very good. Divest. B. Sorcery. Target player reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. That player discards that card. So this is the Ostracize upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seems good. Does what it does. I don't know if it's going to see any constructed play. It's like a pretty good sideboard card in limited, but I don't know. If it doesn't hit like Planeswalkers, then it's kind of hard to play targeted discard.
Yeah, unless we're like really in the world or environment where people are playing, 32 creature decks again.
Yeah.
It is a way to get rid of Hazoret. It is a way to beat
Yep.
the Carnage Tyrant.
Torrential Gear Hulk.
Yeah, Scarab God. Like, it beats some of the best creatures in the format for their cheap, which is great. But, yeah, a lot of things have to go right for that.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep, agreed. Dreadshade. BBB 3/3 Shade. Obviously a reference to Nantuko Shade and Looming Shade and whatnot. Very nostalgic thing.
This card seemed fantastic. It's just at rate, we all know this is way above par.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the one of this cycle, I assume, of the ones that should be legendary but aren't because they want you to play with them.
Right. It's also one of the few cards we've seen where the new Cabal Coffers actually has a payoff.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say.
Just
you can actually do something with the mana.
In play somehow. Just
yeah,
all the way back to Frozen Shade. Yeah.
I don't think that it's gonna end up finding a home just because playing the incentives for playing multiple colors are just still way too high.
Yeah, very
Um,
much agree. This could be another one of those post-rotation breakouts or whatever, if there's like just a mono black deck again.
yeah, but I feel like it would be like the worst card in that deck. Like you would probably play it, but it probably wouldn't be that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely not going to fill the same kind of role as like a Dungrove Elder type card or
Well,
whatever.
I was thinking like Pack Rat or Night Veil Spectre. Like those are the
Oh,
mono
sure.
black creatures that
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. I mean, nothing's ever going to fill the role of Pack Rat, I hope to God.
yeah. All right, Drudge Sentinel, 2B, 2/1, 3, tap it. It gains indestructible until end of turn. So obviously Drudge Skeleton throwback, but with a quote fixed regeneration. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is worth noting that the tap is after the colon, so
yeah, yeah, it's part of the resolution. I mean, it's very similar to the effect of regeneration.
yeah. But
Um,
I feel like I've read somewhere they don't want that.
Yeah, regeneration is a horrible ability. They unevergreened it years ago. Um,
It
it's
was it was definitely a question I used to get when I would work in magic stores of,
yeah.
why
How does
can't I
this
regen?
ability work?
Yeah, and it was hard to explain. Like, oh, well, it taps it and removes all the damage from it, and they're like, what?
Yeah,
Like, I don't understand. Why can't I regenerate it from my graveyard? That would make sense.
yeah,
It wouldn't.
exactly.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
That would make too much sense.
Yeah.
The only other thing worth noting about it is that since it's not regeneration, it's not that a shield pops and goes away. So if you activate this like in combat and then they wrath the board or whatever, it lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
And
right.
whatever.
Eldest Reborn. Saga 4B. 1. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. 2. Each opponent discards a card. 3. Put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So,
Well, I do like all of the abilities
I was gonna
independent of
say
each other.
it's just really underwhelming, right? Like each of the abilities, I don't know if you add up the abilities that you get. I don't even know. So 5 mana Edict is I'm trying to think of like what boards are gonna look like on turn 4, 5, 6.
They probably have some number of Phoenix, some number of, um, you know, like Chandra, I guess. We're gonna have a lot of Karns in play by this
There are going to
time.
be a lot of Karns. Getting a Karn with this thing is pretty filthy because
That would probably feel real good.
you get
Yeah.
your card back the second turn, and then the third ability that's supposedly the payoff is just a free roll.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously would be very good if you just like snag a Karn, snag a card, and then get their Karn. I mean,
Yeah,
I could be into that, but
it
I,
seems
I
good. It's
yeah, I
just
mean, I think that it may just be very much dictated by, as you were saying, what boards are going to look like. We could have a world where people are going wide with tokens, with some of these like new sapperling makers and things like that. It just could be a situation where even against a red deck, it's obviously going to be too slow. Even if like a slow red deck, it's going to be too slow.
yeah,
Especially if we're lose the die roll or whatever. We can't be in a situation where they have like you definitely never want to cast a card when they have a Phoenix in play because that just doesn't do anything. And then, there's going to be situations where they have like Chandra plus a Dork or like, Karn plus they've made a token,
yeah.
things like that.
You would have to be staying on pace
Right.
like the
All the way
whole
up.
early game up to
Yeah.
it.
Yes, you're
Um,
just like trading one for ones repeatedly. Then when they try to like haymaker you, you catch their haymaker with this. But I think there's better things we can be doing.
yeah, I mean, obviously its success case is absurd, but it's
Yes.
just so unlikely. Yeah, Land War Elves, expensive edicts not good when Land War Elves is a format definer.
Also, that is very, very true.
Um, this is the last thing I'll say about this is that if there were that Burial Rites type of
Yep,
deck,
same thing.
it would yeah, probably be playing this. I like that art too.
Mm-hmm.
Eviscerate. 3B sorcery, kill a creature.
Yeah, I mean, not to be confused with the Hearthstone.
Yeah, 2 mana, 2 damage, combo 4 damage.
Yeah, combo 4 damage. So, I mean, obviously, this is gonna be a very good limited card. This has been like a historically used art of, type of card, I guess. It's just a 4 mana, kill a creature. We've recently just had, Impale. Sometimes they'll, like, put it down to 3 with, like, a...
Murder.
Some sort of, like... Yeah, I mean, Murders obviously was just real good, but most of the time, when I've seen them go down to 3 mana on hard removal, it's been with a...
With a rare?
Yeah, either a rare or with a if statement.
Sure.
Like, destroy if it's this, you can destroy it, or if it's not this, you can destroy it.
Sure.
Something like that. So just some kind of exception to the rule, but yeah, I mean,
I can't imagine this is constructible at all.
No,
so
not a chance.
It's just going to be
not a chance.
An absolutely great card in limited and unplayable and constructed.
Agree.
You know what? It might see play in Brawl. I'll give them that. Feral Abomination, a 5B for a 5/5 Death Touch. Death Touch on a huge thing always cracks me up.
Yeah, same. Thank God it's got Death Touch, man. Just in case you tussle with a 6/6. Just in case.
Yeah. Basically, the only time it ever matters is A, if you can give it trample somehow, or B, if, like, there's a lot of, like, 2/4s and stuff that people will gang block your 5/5 with, and you get to trade with all of them.
Sure, that's fair.
And I'm trying to think of the equipments, because sometimes you can give a creature a ping ability also.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there may have been one, actually.
I don't know.
I feel like there was one that's, like, turns it into a pinger, but or
it, like, deals...
makes it ping harder if it's a wizard, maybe?
Yeah, it hits for
Yeah,
1 and 2 if it's a wizard.
Yeah, it's an uncommon Sorcerer's Wand, is what it's called. Yeah, equipped creature has tap. This creature deals 1 damage to target creature, or excuse me, target player or planeswalker, so never mind.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Mind. Yeah, never mind.
Rats.
Yep. We were thinking.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I should probably do it more.
Thrall is back. Chat pointing out it's a Thrall. It's pretty interesting.
That's fair, yeah.
Final Parting, 3BB, sorcery. Search your library for 2 cards. Put one in your hand and the other into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. So...
Seems like you're just making some of these, like, half-assed graveyard filling cards.
Well, this one, you choose what it is.
Yeah, no, I get that
This
one.
is legitimately a good card. Like, Diabolic Tutor is not good, and Entomb is too good, but cheap. Like, getting both is... I think this is a legitimate card. I think that the tutors suck in general, but I think that if you are getting full value of both sides of this, then I see no reason why I couldn't see play.
Well, I guess it's just, one of those things where, like, I do definitely agree that what you were saying, the 2 cards separately, one of them's too good, one of them's not good enough, which I see what they're trying to do is just mix them together. I totally understand. I don't know that that's going to be enough for what you're trying to do. I'd agree that the payoff for this card is really high. You could have some sweet, stuff going on with your graveyard. Obviously, just getting to tutor a card is sweet. So I totally understand that. But I mean, we haven't really seen anything that's like what do we want to put in our yard at this point with our, with this
Champion of
card?
Wits.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
Scrounger.
there was a card to reference here. Even the chat pointed it out. Gerard's Orders.
That thing only found creatures, though. Like, being able to find a spell is so different than being able to find only a creature.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. I mean, being able to find a spell is different than being able to find a creature. It's also cheaper, but like that's all no play. Yeah, I mean, even if you're like tutoring for a creature to put in your graveyard and putting a spell that reanimates in your hand, it still costs 5 mana up front, which is a lot. Yeah.
It is.
Most of the time to do that, so I don't know. I don't see the seeing the point.
I hope they print, like, Battle of Wits.
Yeah.
I'll just prove you fucking wrong. Yeah.
Because we already have Mastermind's acquisition.
Sure. Yeah,
Sure.
I'm in.
There's a couple of tutors.
Yeah.
Fungal Infection. B. Instant. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Create a 1/1. Cards, yeah, definitely sweet and limited. And 1 mana sort of super trick. It kind of feels like the -1/-1 and +1/+1.
Yes.
The pirate card.
Skullduggery? Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
Skullduggery.
Skullduggery.
It kind of feels like a Skullduggery.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, see, I don't. Someone was saying pepper smoke. I don't think it's quite like pepper smoke.
Ooh.
That upside was bananas.
A full card is like...
Yeah, it is absolutely absurd. Like,
Yeah, the only way this is pepper smoke is if everybody's running like mono Bomat couriers.
Yeah.
Right. And even then,
You know,
like,
if there's a bunch of 2/1s running around, then yeah, this is pepper smoke. Otherwise, it's not pepper smoke. That's not.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't really see it being constructible at all, but it's going to be sick and limited.
yeah, definitely is going to be a sick one for sure.
Josu Vess, Lich Knight. It's Liliana's brother, who we see in Final Parting. It's a story card. That's him dying or whatever.
Yeah.
Josu Vess, Lich Knight. 2BB for a 4/5 menace. Kicker 5B. Jesus. When it ETBs, if it was kicked, create 8 2/2 zombie knight creature tokens with menace. So 10 mana, suspend one, win the game.
That sounds good.
Dude, this is a real card.
And being able to just cast it for
Yeah.
4 is...
I mean, for fuck's sake, the tokens have menace? Was that necessary? Just to make sure you can't save yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. This
You just
thing
want to
is
make
being-
sure, even if you have 4 creatures in play, that you still die.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Sure.
fuck
All right.
that.
Yeah, so this is obviously going to be one of those powerhouse limited cards that you're just going to lose if they get to 10 mana. It may make those cards the card the ostracize, whatever the new one is. It may make obviously if your opponent has this card, you want to be putting in that card.
Yes. Yes, there's going to be a lot of those.
Yeah, because you'll have like 100 turns before they hit their 10th turn or their 10th land drop. So
Yeah.
But if they do, then well, you lose. And I guess it's worth pointing out this card may win the game if it's just a 4/5 menace for 4.
Oh, totally.
Like that's
You
a
go
reasonable
2-drop
rate as it is.
You go 2-drop, 3-drop this thing removal spell, like you probably already won.
That's true.
You probably don't
just
have to
stay
do
at
much
parity
more.
with one over the top. Yeah, I'm with you.
Kazarov Senger Pureblood. We get a Senger Vampire. 5 BB for a 4/4 flyer. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt damage, period, put a 1/1 counter on it. 3R, deal 2 damage to target creature. So Olivia Voldaren.
Yeah, it just cost 1,000,000 mana.
So, yeah, it's no Olivia, but it is an unreal limited card.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
unconstructible, unbeatable limited bomb.
Yep.
Knight of Malice. Let's see, Grizzly Bear with first strike, hexproof from white. Knight of Malice gets +1/+0 as long as any player controls a white permanent. This is obviously a throwback to
Fantastic card.
the Knights.
This is what we look for constructing.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely agree.
Hexproof from white is so weird, and I know that I saw a ton of people complaining about it. And I kind of agree with them that it's lame, but I do like that it's
It
because protection is terrible, and hexproof
Yeah.
is terrible. So this is like a halfway between both that actually makes it reasonable from a like play pattern perspective.
Yes. Like, this is as close to protection as it could possibly get.
Yeah.
And yeah, hexproof by itself is just unreal, not fun. So, I do really like the way they designed it. And I think the +1/+0 for like them controlling a white permanent is a little egregious. Because if they're gonna do that, like at least make it cost black, like Black Knight. For fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Right.
it's too easy to play it in a black-white deck.
Yeah, like you could just play both of the knights. I mean, I guess that's kind of what they wanted. Was
Yeah.
to play
A little
one of
hand in
each.
hand.
Yeah, definitely.
just-
100%.
Brothers Yamazaki,
Yeah,
whatever it was called. Just they
We
just
don't-
wanted
we don't
this
talk
to
about
happen. So, but the card is really good. Just
Yeah.
like it's a black one, just fantastically costed, really good card. I mean, I can't stand it.
Yep, definitely aggressively costed. Definitely constructible depending on what the homes are and whatnot.
Agree.
Lich's Mastery, 3BBB Legendary Enchantment. Hexproof. You can't lose the game. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each one life you lost, exile a permanent you control or a card from your hand or graveyard. When this leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. Okay.
That's a lot of text.
Yes. So it's kind of like a Crumbling Sanctuary type card, I guess. Or Phyrexian Unlife.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of like Crumbling Sanctuary, but just like obviously better than that because it's hard to cast.
Yeah.
The fact that the cards that you cast aren't exiling, and it says you can exile from your hand or graveyard,
Yeah, that's
true,
pretty
yeah.
absurd.
it does feel like this is just gain 30 to 40 life, like pretty good card. Like,
Yeah.
actually, I would definitely consider playing it in every limited deck that I could.
Fair.
And I could definitely see it playing constructed. Like, it having hexproof means it is very hard to get rid of.
Yeah, they have to attack your permanent
Your
count.
life total.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to attack your permanent count, your life total. And, which they can't do very easily if you also have a stacked graveyard or a handful of cards or a renewed fate. Like,
Yeah, like I think this card would
it's
be
just gonna be
good and interesting if
one of
it
those
didn't have
cards.
the gain life draw. Like that makes the card work on such a new level where like just random incidental life gain that your cards already have make it so that you like power through your deck and fill up your graveyard even more and just never die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is there some sort of repeatable life-gaining abilities that exist that we could combo this with?
Well, there's Approach to the Second Sun seems pretty great with this.
That's very good, yes.
Yeah. Draw
I mean, I know you
7.
mentioned renewed faith or whatever, which is great because then it just becomes cycle draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
That sounds good. But,
Or
Yeah,
or
or take.
3 mana, draw 6, gain 6.
yep.
You
Any
don't
of
gain
those.
life, guys. You don't need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
gain
yeah,
any more
yeah.
life. You just draw cards. So it's just 3 mana, draw 6 cards.
No. You
No.
still gain the life.
You gain the life also.
Sure, but your life total is irrelevant. You can't lose the game for your life total.
Right.
Right.
So what is your guys? Come on, like it is just gain 6. It's just draw 6 cards.
Sure.
Right.
Effectively. You still gain the life, though.
I hate you both.
I was trying to see if there was... Is there, like a vicious hunger or something in this,
Yeah,
Moment of Craving, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Hell
one.
yeah.
And I guess Vraska's
Yeah.
Contempt also gains
Contempt,
life.
yep. Yeah, like those incidental ones. Because, like, you don't want to play, like, a card that just
Alright.
gains life, right?
Alright, I'm in on this one.
I mean,
It seems like a legitimate, like, one-card
Renewed
strategy.
Faith is a card that you would play that incidentally just gains you life. But like, yeah, you could play Moment of Craving at 2, Fatal Push, Renewed Faith, Vraska's Contempt into like, I don't even know, like Teferi or something, like anything that draws you a card and gains you life or whatever.
Yeah.
The game's over.
Yeah, I'm into it.
It's actually a really reasonable card.
Somebody
I
pointed
think
out Chainless
Garfield
Torment,
designed it himself.
the Soul Feast thing, also gains life.
Okay,
Sure.
sure. Yeah.
And the third ability just gives you a giant monster because your life total doesn't matter. Oh, it deals
Well, it
damage
does-
to you though, so you're kind of
It
fucked.
deals the damage to you, so you get kind of wrecked on that one, yeah.
It's like having Phyrexian Obliterator, and like you only have a damage-based removal spell.
Yeah, a little awkward. Okay.
Casting
Yeah, I
Second
mean,
Sun with this in play just puts the Second Sun back into your hand.
Yes, that it does.
Alright, Lingering Phantom. 5B, 5/4 Spirit. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you may pay B. If you do, return Lingering Phantom from your graveyard to your hand. Just a limited card. Good grind them out. Draft card, but not really constructible. Phyrexian Scriptures. 2BB Saga.
Mythic.
Mythic. Ooh. What's this? This thing's just normal rare. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature. That creature becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. 2. Destroy all non-artifact creatures. 3. Exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards.
Okay.
So it's probably mostly Suspend 1 Wrath.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah, mostly.
It's like what?
It is nice that, like, in Constructed, it, like, exiles the graveyard, so gets rid of everything for God's Feral Gift.
Yeah. Their Lich's
It
Mastery
might
is
be
worse.
Yep. Get that Lich's Mastery fucking out of here. But yeah, this is a pretty reasonable card. I mean,
Yep. It seems like another fit into the, like, if they're gonna play a mono black control deck, you play this thing.
I think it might be better than that. I think it's as you were saying, the Suspend 1 Wrath is probably really good, and then the fact that you can A, save something of your own, and then B, like with the third trigger on the stack, you can, like, you know, light up their Phoenix and just let that go, and, you know, have good stuff going on there, because that's like a very common, you know, either like pre-wrath or post-wrath ability or spells. So
Yeah.
I think this could just be very good.
There are, like, a lot of artifacts, though, and, like, a lot of good curves where, like, 4 mana Suspend 1 Wrath is not gonna be good enough.
That's fair.
'Cause,
Yeah, I
like-
mean, there's definitely
Like, they just attack you
for-
and, like, play a Planeswalker, and then... I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, as as someone in chat was saying, if your opponent goes Bomac Courier, Heart of Kira, and Scrounger, yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to feel real bad. But, I think most of the time, especially when people are going to try out these Llanowar Werewolf decks, people are still going to continue to play their, like,
It's gonna be good
Earthshaker
against that.
Kendras and stuff like that. Because, yeah, it's going to be real good against green decks.
Yeah.
Real good against green decks. I think it'll still be good against a lot of the Scarab God, like, mid-rangey decks.
It sucks to be like leaning on this if they just like have naturalizes in their 75.
That's also true. Yeah, it is. Does get undone by that, so something to keep in mind.
Yep. All right. Rat Colony 1B for a 2/1.
I'm
Rat
in.
Colony gets +1/+0 for each other rat you control. A deck can have any number of cards named Rat Colony.
Pick up your foils now, folks.
So Relentless Rats throwback. Yeah, these are going to be worth money inexplicably.
Yep.
For people that just want to play Swamps and these and Relentless Rats.
At least it's a common, so it's not just going to be like Relentless Rats was, where it's just $5 and
Yeah.
no one could understand why. So, I mean, obviously, this is just going to be super hilarious. I just want to attack with like a 6/1 rat and limited somehow, but I don't think that'll ever happen. But
I had limited
It-
decks with a couple of Relentless Rats once they got reprinted in a core set.
mhm.
Like you could do that sometimes.
Sure.
The fact that
Yeah,
they're
but like-
X1s no matter these ones are X1s no matter what makes it harder.
Yeah. Yeah, just it doesn't matter. It could be a 9/1, and you're just like, well, I'll block with my 2/2.
Yeah.
So neat.
Right of Bells and Lock 2BB Saga 1 and 2 create 2/01 black cleric creature tokens. So you make 4 total. It comes into play and makes 2. Then your next turn it makes 2 more. Then 3 create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying, trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you can't, this creature deals 6 damage to you. So this is a Lord of the Pit reference. Worth noting that even if you can't sacrifice and you have to take 6, you still get to attack with your 6/6. It doesn't tap it. I don't know. We were talking about how tokeny decks might be a thing, and this seems like it fits into there just fine. If you can make use of, 4 bodies for 1 card is an extremely good rate.
Yeah, it's actually 5 bodies for
Right. That seems totally playable and legitimately good. Problem is just it takes forever. This is one that you definitely want to play that guy that like speeds up the sagas,
Oh yeah.
the red 2-drop, cause yeah, I think that card's legit.
This is one.
Settle the score. 2BB, sorcery. Exile target creature. Put 2 loyalty counters on a planeswalker you control. Well, obviously just another super solid removal spell for limited. Constructed, you got to think about, Vraska's Contempt versus this, and I think Contempt is going to be the one you play with more often. But there's definitely possibilities of, if there's cheap planeswalkers to maybe split them with this thing. Because if you cast this thing for value, it's like, obviously it depends on what the planeswalker is, but like going from having a planeswalker to like being able to ultimate it, a turn later is pretty insane.
Yeah, it's really insane. It's really insane. But we have to have, like you said, a good 3-mana planeswalker that I curve this into.
Yeah.
It could be insane if either one of the actual 3-mana or the others in some kind of
Either the actual what?
older format. It could be insane with like some of the older Lilianas.
Oh, yeah.
Older formats. And this art is actually fantastic. When you see the flavor text telling us right there that you.
Yeah, I guess I asked on that earlier card if it was Liliana's demon, but I guess this answers that question for me.
Yeah. The chat told us it was. I also confirmed that. Yes, this card definitely confirms it for us. It also confirms that she killed the shit out of him.
Yeah, as she is wont to do.
Yes.
Trying to see, here we go. Quick glance at the Planeswalkers. Nissa, Gideon of Trials, Jace Cunning Castaway. Jace Cunning Castaway, you play it, and plus it, and then play this, settle the score, and then ultimate it. That's legitimate. Saheeli Rai. Oh, that's all the 3-mana ones. Karn is obviously going to be the most played Planeswalker.
Yeah, I mean, like, the biggest thing about this whole thing that we have to think about is this is way more narrow, too. Like, sorcery speed, it's not an instant.
Yeah.
Creatures, does it, Planeswalkers. So, like, we're looking at a very, I mean, while it is a fantastic card if you have a Planeswalker, it is way below par if we do not. So,
Yeah.
realistically see playing this card, but man, if you have like Liliana, the Last Hope in play, you get to cast this, you're just like,
Whee!
5. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not going to be played over Contempt. It's unfortunate. Soul Salvage, 2B, sorcery, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Good grindy value limited card and not constructible.
Yep.
Stronghold Confessor. Sorry, what?
I said, yep, just another one of those classic raised ends.
Yep. What's that? The Dance of the Dead? Dead's Duet?
Yeah, that's Duet, exactly.
Stronghold Confessor, 1 mana, 1/1. Menace. 1 mana, 1/1 Menace. Kicker 3. If it was kicked, it's a 3/3. So it's a 4 mana 3/3 or a 1 mana 1/1 with Menace. That seems good.
Just really good.
If there is an aggressive black deck, then those decks are always so hungry for 1-drops that I wouldn't wouldn't put it past them to play this card.
Yeah,
but
this card really reminds me of like what was the card? The Leveler from Rise of the Old Dragon. 1 mana 1/1 that became a 3/3 and then a 5/5 or whatever. I know
Sure,
it's not
sure.
the same type of card, but like that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's just like good on turn 1. It's good late. I mean, a 3/3 Menace is nothing to stop.
no, for sure. Well, it's basically just the that blue card that was like 1U for a 1/1 unblockable, kicker 3, make it a 3/3.
Oh yeah, 8 to 50.
Yeah, it's that, but for 1 mana less, and you get Menace instead of unblockable. A full mana less is absurd.
Yep.
Thallid Omnivore, 3B for a 3/3. 1, sacrifice another creature. Thallid Omnivore gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If a sapling was sacrificed this way, you gain 2 life. So here's our Nantuko Husk. Important to note that for reasons of tokens and like active treasons in limited. Unfortunately, the active treason is like expensive. It's a kicker card, so it's kind of hard to have another mana up. You prefer your Nantuko Husks not to have a mana on the activated ability, but they tend to put one there now because they realize free Nantuko Husk is too strong. But yeah, I don't know. Good use of your saplings for limited.
Yeah, you definitely have an excess of sapling tokens, so why not do this?
Yep.
I love the art on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like it too. Thallid Soothsayer, 3B for 2/3, 2, sack a creature, draw a card.
We have found a better one.
I was gonna say, pretty obvious upgrade to get an uncommon instead of a common.
Right.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna play it. You're probably gonna play this in all your decks, um, and you're definitely loving it. It's like the one of the better cards in your Thallid decks, and just good, decent filler in your other decks.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Torgar Famine Incarnate, 6BB76, legendary creature Avatar. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. When it ETBs, up to one target player's life total becomes half their starting life total, rounded down. So, it's kind of a weird effect. Set their life total to 10. We've seen it a couple times before, but it still is weird to me every time. But I mean, you only need 3 tokens to play a 7/6, drain them for, 6-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the idea here that they were going for was to go 2-3 cast this thing, which
Was what?
I don't cast a 2-mana guy, 3-mana guy, sack them both. Play
Yeah.
it. You could also go 1-1 or 1 and then 2 1s on turn 2 and play it on turn 3, which I think would be the best thing you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of 1-drops in standard that the black deck wants anyways, like, the Jackal and stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cheap cards that are like multiple bodies also.
Fair.
And this also
I
seems
just
like a
want-
decent thing to reanimate. I don't know, this card seems legit.
Yeah, like, it actually does seem legit. I think this could be played on, like, turn 3 or 4 pretty reliably.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. Just kind of scary.
Yeah, that's very good. Like, even if they kill it, they're still at 10. Land War Elves into this thing, yeah, that's pretty cute too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this card saw some play.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I don't think it's going to be like a, the damn deck or whatever. But,
Yeah, it's not a Titan by any stretch.
Right, yeah.
Urgoros, the empty one, 4BB for a 4/3 flyer. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. If the player can't, draw a card. So here's our Hypnotic Spectre callback. Generally, actually pretty playable at 3 mana, and not playable at all above that. And this is fucking 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ability. I guess the only saving grace is, I think, it, in limited, for instance, like on 6 or 7, your opponent could genuinely be out of cards already, so you may just be able to like hit draw a card, but I don't know.
It's good that, because specters do get dead late. It's good
Right.
that it
Yeah,
finds a way to
definitely. Yeah.
make use of it.
So this is a good point for me to point out that it's a 4/3 and the common spider is a 3/5.
Yup. Does
All
not
right,
square up well against the
You're-
3/5 spider.
You are correct. You are correct that I am off this card.
Yep. Oh, you know what I realized for this thing, and not necessarily this one, but like there's a couple of ones that are kind of sweet with Garayo's Vengeance in Modern.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like this thing, Garayo's Vengeancing this thing and attacking puts them to 3.
Sure.
That's fucking crazy. All right,
Yep.
this is offering
Is that
what?
good? I was gonna say, is that good? And if so, why?
Yeah, is killing your opponent favorable? This is offering 1B instant, neg 2, kick or sack a creature, neg 5 instead. Yep, super good removal spell. Probably not constructible because you just play moment, but
I I think the way this could be constructible is if you're playing like the hidden stockpile deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then this
It
card
does
just becomes bananas.
Yeah, it does kill Hazoret, which is nice with the kicker.
Truth.
You would definitely want to play Moment in most decks, but like, yeah, Sapling.
Yeah, you can throw away a token or a scrap heap scrounger and get it back right away or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You can do all sorts of weird stuff, and the fact obviously that it turns on hidden stockpile by attacking the creature or whatever. It's just a lot of good stuff going on. I think Hazoret is the big one. That it does kind of nip that for 2 mana. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could go in some things.
Yep. I don't doubt
But
it.
yeah, definitely absolute busto limited card.
Yes, for sure.
Yep.
Whisper Blood Liturgist. 3B for a 2/2. Tap, sacrifice 2 creatures, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card is awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
I will say, now that I got Goral's Vengeance on my mind, this thing seems kind of sweet with that. But even for limited and even standard, this kind of reminds me of like an Elvish Piper type card, where it's like
Fair.
they'll probably just kill it, but if they don't, you fucking win.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely something to do with all of these cards that like are kind of incidentally putting one in the yard occasionally, or obviously there's some stuff like Pull from Tomorrow, lets you draw some cards, put one in the yard, etc. Probably a little difficult to set up unless you're playing like the Rite, I think is what it was, Rite of Bells and Lock.
Yeah.
So you could, like you said, if you untap with this guy and play the Saga, there's your dudes,
Yeah. Well, again, we talked about the Abzan, the Junk Reanimator deck. Like, that thing had a bunch of mana dorks in it so that you could ramp and cast hard cast your creatures, your Thragtusk and whatnot.
Right.
And then you would just have these these dorks lying around, and
Right, exactly.
that I could easily see that being a deck. And then obviously in limited, it's just great because it turns tokens and bad creatures into your best creature.
Yep.
Windgrace Acolyte, 4B, 3/2 flyer, ETB, mill 3, and gain 3. Cool.
Why is
Yeah.
this thing a cat?
So I think
That
it's this thing riding this pterodactyl.
Yeah, it's not actually the big dinosaur-looking thing. It's the little cat person.
I don't know why that's a cat person, but
Right.
Why is this a cat warrior?
Because,
Yeah.
listen, they did extensive studying,
the
okay?
cat warriors in Dominaria are supposed to be green, right? Oh wait, no, because I'm thinking of Miri, but then Miri got cursed. So maybe they're black
Sure.
now?
Sure. I mean, I'm sure this is just... Wizards did extensive research. They figured out that Magic players enjoy cats. I think that's a very
No,
blanket
because
statement
if
I'm
that was the
comfortable
thing,
making.
then the art description, art prompt would have centered more on the cat. Like, you can't tell that this thing's a cat unless
Make
you
the
look
cat
super
bigger.
close at it. Yeah, if they were focusing on the cat more, I could see that being a thing. But I think it does have to do with Miri and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, someone's like going off in the chat, like learning
go.
me some things.
Lord of Windgrace is a cat warrior planeswalker. One of the ones that gave up a spark as part of the mending. Aha, aha, aha. Yeah, that makes sense.
We've learned.
Somebody else Toku pointed out the Whisper Blood Liturgist is sweet with Verdant Force. Get a Verdant Force back, and then the next turn you already have 2 tokens to get something else back. That's kind of sweet. Anyway, Windgrace Acolyte is a totally solid limited card. Moving
Yes,
on.
fine.
Yargle, Glutton of Urborg. 4B, 9/3, Frog Spirit. Rules text, just the story.
Yargle.
Yargle, yargle, yargle.
Literally exactly what I thought. I was like, this is just another Hearthstone card, man. They're just trying.
His art reminds me of an episode of Adventure Time, too. The one where it's like a frog thing, I think. The one he ends up kissing. 9 out of 3. Yeah, I don't know. This is just a weird limited card.
Solid 9 out of 3.
Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. 4B Legendary Sorcery. These are the ones that you have to have a legendary creature or planeswalker on the battlefield under your control to be able to cast them. Put up to one target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and destroy up to one target creature or planeswalker. Exile it. So, if that type of Unburial Rites, reanimation style mid-range control deck exists, this is going to be a key card in it.
Yeah, this is in it for sure.
I mean, it is a legendary sorcery, so it's a little harder to cast.
Yes.
But, man, this card's...
But you're already playing your Whisper Blood Liturgists, right? You're playing your
cards.
Your Karns and not Liliana.
The 4-drop legends that definitely curve into this. That's what I'm not saying they're hard. I'm just saying this card is a little harder to cast. It's sweet. It's what I would like to be doing in construct. Killing something.
Josuvas? Maybe you're playing that thing? Probably not.
It is good with the Liliana that mills in top 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5-mana Lily?
Death Majesty or whatever. Yeah, you just mill the top 2. Like you find something you want to get back, it doesn't die, then you cast that card, get back something, kill their best creature, easily just get ahead and win.
Okay. Yeah, I could get behind a plan like that.
Yeah, there's not... 5 mana is a point where, you can't really, play a legend and this in the same turn unless you're playing, the really, really bad 1-drops just to do that. This seems more of a card that you, play your removal spell on 2, your draw spell on 3, your planeswalker on 4, and this on 5. You know what I mean?